guys, my name's Dave and welcome to another Guitar Zero to Hero song tutorial. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play What I've Done by Linkin Park on the electric guitar. Now, if you have an acoustic guitar and you want a simple way to play this by yourself and sing along, then I also have an acoustic version lesson. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. But for this studio version, I'll teach you all the electric guitar parts, the rhythm and the lead. For the basics, we'll just need our guitar in drop D tuning. So to get into drop D tuning, you'll take your low E string down 2 semitones. So down to an E flat / D sharp, and then down until we get to the D note. Once our low 6th string is a D note, we're good to go. Now, if you want to master your chords back to front, then be sure to head over to guitarzerotohero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Or if you want to improve in guitar in general, then check out Guitar Zero to Hero Premium, which is my complete step-by-step guitar course. Let's jump into the lesson. Okay, so I'm going to start by teaching you the rhythm guitar, which is played by Shinoda. So let's start with the intro. We're going to start with some muted strums before we actually come in with the chords. So what we're going to do is just lightly touch the strings with our fretting hand. We're not actually pushing down any strings, just lightly touching them. And we're going to strum 2 down strums on the 4 end beat. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So then we get into the chords. Now our first chord is a power chord shaped like this. Now in drop D tuning, to play a power chord, you just need to bar your index finger across the 6th, 5th and 4th strings. Now you only want to apply pressure to these top strings. For the lower strings, you don't want to be barring the whole index finger down. So only apply pressure up the top. For the bottom 3 strings, you want them just muted, and that will naturally occur because your index finger will lightly touch them. But the 6th, 5th and 4th strings will ring. And then we'll take our pinky finger and we'll put that on the 7th fret of the 3rd string, or 2 frets up from that power chord. So this is our first chord. I'm going to strum this with all down strums at 8th notes, so it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. For the next chord, we'll just shift this exact same shape up to the 8th and 10th frets and play the exact same rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. For the third chord shape, we'll move this down to 3rd and 5th frets. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the final chord, we'll take this all the way up to 10th and 12th. 1, 2, 3, 4. For the second line of tab, we play that chord progression through another time, and then we end by returning to our starting chord, strumming that and holding it out. So that's it for the intro, which just sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. For the first verse and pre-chorus, there's basically no guitars here. It's just a drum beat and piano and bass. At the very end of the pre-chorus though, we're just going to end with some muted strums. So instead of 2 muted strums, we're going to end with 4 muted strums. So that starts on the 3 beat. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now you can do that with all down strums or a down, up, but I'm going to do all down strums here. Next we get to the first chorus, and these chords are identical to the intro chords. So we have this power chord shape played at 5th, 8th, 3rd, 10th. And we repeat that progression through twice. For the second verse, we hit this starting chord and let it ring out. And then at the very end of this pre-chorus, we're going to again do 4 muted strums. So 3 and 4 and then we get into the second chorus. Now for the second chorus, the first line of tab is identical to the first chorus. So nothing new to learn there. In the second line of chords, the first 3 bars are the same. So we have this 5th fret chord, 8th, 3rd fret chord for a bar. But then these next 2 bars are where we change things up a little bit. So we're going to go up to this C power chord. So from this 3rd fret position, we're going to put our ring finger down on the 5th fret of the 4th string, and then your index finger can just slightly shift down so that it's only pushing down on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. So this is our C power chord. We'll strum this for half a bar, so 4 down strums, 1 and 2 and then we'll move up 2 frets for the rest of the bar, 3 and 4 and. For the next bar, we move up to a D sharp, so that's up 1 fret for half a bar, 1 and 2, and then we move up 2 frets to the F power chord, and this is played for the rest of the bar. 3 and 4. So the second line of tab for the second chorus will sound like this. Next is the solo section, which is identical to the chords in chorus 2. So we just repeat those chords again. Next is the bridge, where we take things down a little bit. And we're just gonna play small portions of our full chord. So for this starting chord, instead of playing this whole thing, we're just going to take the 3rd and 4th strings, those 2 notes. So just take your index finger down to the 5th fret of the 4th string, and we're just gonna focus on the 3rd and 4th strings. Now you can use your free middle finger here to lightly rest and touch the 6th and 5th strings if you don't want them ringing out. So we just focus on these 2 strings. We're gonna strum this for 1 full bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we move this up to 8th and 10th for 1 full bar, down to 3rd and 5th for 1 full bar, and we end with our C power chord for 1 full bar. So that's the first line of tab. Now the second line of tab is almost identical, except we add a 5th bar here. So for the 5th bar, we stay on this C5 and we just strum for 3 beats. So the 4 beats just muted. So 1 and 2 and 3 and mute. That's it for the bridge, which sounds like this. Finally, the 4th chorus and outro is really simple. It's just that chorus chord progression, the main one, repeated through 4 times, and then we end the song with our starting chord. And that's everything for Mike Shinoda's rhythm parts. Okay, so now I'm going to run you through the lead guitar parts that are played by Brad Delson. We'll start with the intro, and there's 2 lines of tab here. Now we're going to play some individual notes. So we're going to start with our middle finger on the 13th fret of the 5th string. We'll constantly pluck with downstrokes at 8th notes. Now we're going to be plucking this note for 3 beats. So on the 4 beat, we'll then go down to the 12th fret with our index finger. So this first bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So basically 6 plucks on the 13th fret, 2 plucks on the 12th fret. For the next bar, we go back up to the 13th fret for those 6 plucks. And then for the last 2 plucks, we go up to the 15th fret. So the second bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And... For the third bar, we go down to the 12th fret for the full 8 plucks, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And for the final bar, we go down to the 10th fret, and we're going to pluck this with 6 plucks, and then for the final 2 plucks, go back up to 12th fret. So the 4th bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And... Now the second line of tab is basically the same as the first line of tab. We just add 1 extra final note, which is the 13th fret. We hit that and hold it out. So that's it for the intro, which sounds like this. For the verses and pre-chorus, there's absolutely no guitar. Next we get to the first chorus, and it's basically identical to the intro, so we've already learnt that. Next we get to the second chorus. Now there's 2 lines of tab here. For the first line of tab, it's that main riff that we learnt in the intro and the first chorus. So nothing new there. For the second line of tab, this is where things change a little bit. The first 3 bars are identical to the main riff. For the 4th bar, we go down to the 10th fret, like we normally do, but we only play this for half a bar. So 4 plucks, and then we go up to 12th fret for 4 plucks. And then for the final bar, we go up to the 13th fret for 4 plucks. And then for the second half of the bar, we then get into this shape. So middle and ring finger will go on the 12th frets of the 5th and 4th string, and your index finger will go on the 10th fret of the 3rd string. We're going to pluck the 5th, 4th, and then with an up pluck, hit the 3rd string, and with a down pluck, back to the 4th string. So 4 plucks. 3, 4, In the final bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So the second line of tab for chorus number 2. Alright, next we get to the solo. So moving on, our previous shape was this. Now we can actually lift our middle finger. So we just have our index and ring finger on the 10th fret and 12th fret. Now we're going to do some alternate picking here. So anytime you pluck one of the 3rd or 2nd strings, we're going to do an up pluck. Anytime you pluck the 4th string, you'll do a down pluck or a down stroke. So in this position, we'll alternate between the 3rd and 4th string 3 times. So 1 and 2 and 3. And then you'll take your pinky finger, put it on the 12th fret of the 3rd string and alternate between the 3rd and 4th string one more time. And then to end this run, you'll take your middle finger and put it on the 11th fret of the 2nd string and pluck that. So this whole sequence. So you hold that 2nd string note out until the end beat after the 3, where we'll go back to the 4th string and then 3rd string and back to 4th string. So 3 notes there to end this bar. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now the 3rd bar is identical to the 1st bar. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now for the 4th bar, what you'll do is actually have your index finger barred across the 10th frets of the 3rd and 2nd string. We'll then start by plucking the 2nd string back to our 4th, 3rd string back to our 4th, and then lift your pinky finger, pluck the 3rd back to our 4th, 3rd and then 4th. So first half, and then second half. And I'll start from the end of the 2nd bar. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4. Next we get to the second line of tab. Now the first 4 bars are almost identical to the first line of tab. The only difference here is for the final 2 notes. So in the 4th bar and the first line of tab, we stayed on this 10th fret of the 3rd string and went to the 4th string. Now at the end of the 4th bar and the second line of tab, we're actually going to take our pinky finger and put it back down onto the 12th fret of the 3rd string. And we'll pluck that and then go back to our 3rd string. So the 4th bar here. And for the 5th bar, it's identical to the 4th bar, except we'll start with the 11th fret of the 2nd string with our middle finger here, instead of the 10th fret with our index. But everything else is the same. And that's it for the solo, which sounds like this. Next we get to the bridge. Now the first line of the bridge is just our main riff that we have in the choruses, except for this final bar, instead of staying on the 10th fret for 6 downstrokes and then going up back up to the 12th, we're going to play 4 notes here and then 4 notes here. And then for the second line of tab, we're going to stay on this 10th fret for the whole 4th bar and then move up to the 12th fret for the 5th bar for just 6 downstrokes. So the bridge will sound like this. For the 4th chorus, it's just that main riff that we have in the intro, but repeated through 4 times. And then we end with the 13th fret note. And that's everything for the lead guitar parts. Now in terms of tone, you don't have to have anything special. You can just use a high gain amp channel, and that's what I've done with my Boss Katana. Or you could use a clean amp channel with the distortion pedal. And I like to use the bridge pickup here. And I have my volume and tone set at 10. So now I'll be doing 2 playthroughs of the song. The first playthrough will be Mike Shinoda's rhythm guitars, and the second playthrough will be Brad Delson's lead guitar. Feel free to play these back as many times as you'd like to practice, play along to, see how you go. Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this lesson, then I know you'll absolutely love these other lessons too. So hit the link here. Or if you want to grab a copy of my free guitar ebook, then head over to guitarzerotohero.com or click the link here. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers.